Well, hello there. And this one is called Coming Off Stimulants. So, how to come off stimulants? I think immediately of tea and coffee, but there are of course a whole host of other stimulants out there that have become very much the default mode for so many people. And there comes a point in your life's journey where you become aware of the fact that sure, there's definitely a benefit to taking stimulants, and there's also a price to pay as well. And as time goes on, that price becomes more and more undesirable. Let's put it that way. And certainly when you go down the spiritual development path and you start working with plant medicines, for example, it becomes an essential step to be able to manage without stimulants, at least for a period of time. So, let's just go into tea and coffee and all associated things like Red Bull and all the rest of these caffeinated beverages. So, having made this observation, you've got two choices, and they're very simple. And one is known as cold turkey, which means you completely cut out that medicine in question. And the other is easy does it, slow and gradual. I reckon I've got a little bit of an issue coming up here. Let's just have a look whether this is true or not. Oh, bit of an issue. Not going to get very far down there, am I? Okay, well, I'll just have to turn into a different direction. That's all I can do. I'd hope to walk somewhere quiet, but it's not going to happen. Fair enough then. So, the first approach, the cold turkey, means you immediately cease the consumption of that substance. And there are some wonderful examples of people doing this, and generally speaking, it's very painful. And the most likely thing that's going to happen is severe headaches. Now, you can mitigate against this and reduce the severity as much as possible simply by drinking between 2 and 3 litres of water a day of the best quality you can get hold of. Now that will help, but it'll still be a rough ride. So if you don't want the rough ride, it's the slow, steady, gradual is the obvious answer to go for. And it's what the majority of people choose, to be honest with you. Tried and tested. So the very first step I would suggest you take, if you want to get off tea and coffee, would be to make a bulletproof drink. And there is a link in the film to explain what those are. And in short, it's about working with the healing powers of raw honey, coconut oil and grass-fed butter. And what these do is they lessen the severity of the effects of the stimulant, very much so. And you can make a tea or a coffee using these, and that will help a lot. And then the next step you can take is to move into what we call the bulletproof hot chocolate. So the bulletproof hot chocolate is made from raw cacao. Now, raw cacao is a stimulant, but it's a gentler one, not so savage. So that's a great step, and there's a link to that as well. And the next thing you can do is you can start to make whatever drink you have with whatever stimulant is weaker. It's such a simple, obvious thing, isn't it? The lover of the weak tea, the milky coffee, it's all a step in the right direction. But there's going to come a point when you want to let go. And there is something on the market, in the health food market, which is called Wake Up, and Wake Up contains guarana, which is another stimulant, but again not so severe as the tea or the coffee. That's the one that you can go for. And remember, while all this is going on, you're upping your consumption of good quality water. And here's another thing. This is what they do in North Africa, for example. If you go to a cafe and order a drink, tea, coffee, mint tea, whatever it is, there's always a big glass of water provided right next to it, which is again ameliorating the harshness of the effects of the stimulant. So these are all really helpful things you can do. So you're bulletproofing, you're weakening, you're going into a healthier way of being with your water consumption and such like. And hopefully, there is one other one, which is when you go beyond the wake up, there's something which is called no caf. Now no caf looks like instant coffee, and it has the advantage and the benefit of having no caffeine whatsoever, but it's still a brown drink. So when you reach this point, you're really getting somewhere. Now I just better make a little sidebar into, but what about decaf? He's not talking about decaf. Well, he is now. So decaf coffee is 8 to 13% caffeine. So most of it's been taken out, and that is a step that you can take. But please be aware that when you end up on decaf, you're not out of the woods yet. It's just another step in the right direction. And of course, there's all sorts of issues about what kind of extraction process they are using to decaffeinate. Some are much harsher than others, some are much kinder than others. That's also worth considering. So you can certainly go down the decaf route, so long as you recognise it's only a temporary step. It's not the destination. It's just another staging post on your journey. So that's certainly something you can do. But there comes a point when it's time to ditch all this stuff. Oh, I should also mention rooibos tea. Rooibos tea is like the equivalent of the no-caf for the coffee lovers. The coffee lovers end up on no-caf, and the tea lovers end up on rooibos. I used to drink that stuff for years. Don't bother about it anymore. So there comes a point when it's okay. Bottom line, all these things are dehydrating. Every single thing I mentioned, they're all dehydrating except for the water. So you finally reach a point, stop fanning around and get on with the water. And when you do that, that really is such a great moment in your coming off caffeinated beverages. So that's pretty much an outline of the journey that you can take. And you do have this choice that says right at the beginning, you can go cold turkey or you can go gradual. And what you'll discover is that the 3D realms have less and less of a grip on you the more that you're able to extricate yourself from that regular daily consumption, and you find yourself more and more able to tune into the spiritual life, the other dimensions, the multidimensional existence. So it's an extraordinary and exciting journey that awaits you. All the love.